So we got a new one from the man who makes music for the people who like to check their email when they're in the club. And if you are someone who does that, then your old Droog might really resonate with you as an artist. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Muff. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button up for your boy, as that's greatly appreciated. Also subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm gonna hit y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Your Old Droog entitled Movie. So this elusive, enigmatic, Brooklyn MC of Ukrainian descent is really slept on, I feel, when it comes to his pen game, which I feel is saying a lot since there is so much competition in the underground scene that he dwells in. Now, over the last few years, he has dropped a plethora of EPs and collab albums up until about 2022, but this new one, Movie, it is his first full-length release in a few years, it seems. So for this new album, he linked with the following producers: Just Blaze, JES, Harry Fraud, I believe, if I'm getting that correctly, Wino Willie, Conductor Williams, Cartoon Beats, K-Night 13, Roper Williams, and Madlib. Now this has 18 songs lasting approximately 48 minutes. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Success and Power, has this lavish and real instrumental from Just Blaze. I like the horn and string sections. It's very victorious and classy, and it feels like this soundtrack to when you've made it in life. He talks about having to kick down the doors himself, and some lines that jumped out to me were, "Get close to stardom, they want to see me get my flowers, but my powers help me pack the whole garden." At the end of the track, Droog states, "I'm the Concord 11s, you the Olive 9s. And I'm thinking to myself, Droog, what's up with the Olive 9 slander? Now, I get it, the Concord 11s is a more sought after shoe, and it's going to sell out faster, but I think Olive 9s is a pretty solid shoe. Track 2, Crescent Moon, has a whimsical but slightly wavy boom bap instrumental that somehow screams late 90s underground, you know, the raucous era, maybe with a splash of doom. And on this one, he's flexing his skill set, giving us some dope wordplay as he states, "You cornflakes running the wrong race. In the greatest of all time, I got a strong case. Kick back, pop some Dom Perignon, and ask all these John Kerry rappers why the long face." So I dug his unique references here, and that John Kerry line was straight up silly. Like, in 2024, who else would have a John Kerry reference but Your Old Droog? Track 3, How Do You Do It, has this melancholy trap-like beat from Harry Fraud, and I thought it was cool to hear Droog over these types of drums. It was something different, but on this record, he is giving us a lot of deep introspection, reflecting back on how he used to be unapproachable and how he didn't have girls or the fly gear to rock. So he asked this question to the people who had all of these things, like, how do you do it? How do you manage to live this lifestyle realistically? Next is I Think I Love Her, which has a very vintage, cheery soul sample. Was giving me Cameron vibes. The soul chops are very endearing. And here, he's admitting that there's women that he loves just as much as his mom. Now, to keep it a buck, at first, I thought this track may have been about his love for hip-hop, the girl representing hip-hop, but I think it's actually about a girl who he hasn't met yet, but his version of an ideal woman. But I dug the soul sample here. It just screams vintage. Immediately after is Mantra, where he goes back into his introspective bag quite heavy, and this is backed by a dreary Harry Fraud beat that's also very crisp and atmospheric. This one is pain rap, ladies and gentlemen, and Droog just reflects on growing up, this immigrant, overcoming poverty and prejudice. He raps, "Made it with the bare essentials on around my mainline, painted to the instrumental." So even though Droog is a white dude, he did face some prejudice that was traumatic for him, as he recalls on here having to lie about being Puerto Rican just to make friends and just to survive in his neighborhood. And That's deep. We do continue on this somber path for the following song, Grandmother's Lessons. And it's a heartfelt tribute to his grandma over some really gorgeous but melancholic keys. It's a pretty delicate instrumental, but very somber. And Droog's rounds are emotionally compelling. Yeah, this one is a tear jerker, straight up and down. It's a very touching record, but it's so sad that I don't even know if I want to come back to it all that much, if you feel me. There is a change in pace with the following song, Mercury Thermometers, and it's got a quirky boom bap beat from Conductor Williams. Now, this is a straight up spitting type of track where Droog is coming through with those clever raw raps like just some iconic bars and a hard moniker. Also, you got to mention me as the premier counterculture artist of the century. And Droog does have a pretty slick rebuttal for those who claim that he lacks charisma. He says, I had someone tell me that I lack charisma. You know who had charisma? Hitler. He's got a point. But he closes out this track with some really ill wordplay. You know I gotta regulate when I'm Warren, G. Crazy. Next is What Else, produced by Cartoon Beats, who supplies Droog with a crunchy head nodding instrumental. I dug this in the 90s like refrain, and the whole track had some mid to late 90s energy. And here Droog is essentially exposing the whack MCs, the studio gangsters, and the casuals out there. Droog raps, you ain't really have a Caltech, you was a nail tech pulling fouls, and casuals are amused by their attributes. Bunch of vodka drinkers speaking in absolutes. Following this is The Sandbox, where we get a return to that dreamy, pensive type of production. And Droog is flexing some vivid storytelling here, speaking on the different paths, I believe, of three kids who were all products of their environment. And Droog appears as this wise narrator who says, I can't stop the hands on this damn clock, but for now, he's just one of the kids playing in the sandbox. It's another deep record. And there is an intermission where Droog says that there is no one else he would like to work with in the industry. And this leads us right into $3 million. That's his asking price for the labels. And it's backed by this eerie orchestral production from K-Night 13. It's more of an aggressive record overall. And on here, Droog, he talks about betting on himself. He raps, most of these rappers are cream filled. If streams equated as skills, I'd be as big as Dreamville. Still, my life's so good, it don't seem real, and I ain't signing the deal until they give me $3 million. The next song is Yachty Dotty, and it's one of the highlights. Now, I feel this track is like the antithesis of Lottie Dottie, the party anthem. I dug the fly 70s vintage woodwind production, but this one is an anthem, for the anti-social. When Droog raps, I ain't trying to be at the club with Eric Adams. That's foolish. Eric Adams, the New York mayor. The shade right here is funny. But this song was cool because it shows he's really comfortable in his own skin. He's not trying to be someone he's not, so I can respect the full transparency. Afterwards is the interview part 2, where he talks about his female fan base, and that leads us right into the damn shame. It's a track where he reminisces on the girls who got away, the dope shorties that he fumbled. And while I can appreciate the honesty here, there's something really gloomy about this track that I don't know if I want to come back to. Like, it's a cool song, but it's kind of an in your feelings type record, just too much, I think. For me, that is. Following, though, is the gem DBZ with Method Man and Denzel Curry, and it's set to a spectacular drumless sample from the one and only Madlib. And it's a complete bar fest. Droog said, this Ukrainian getting billions though, no Zelensky. That's witty. Also, go home, throw some navy blue on, and burn sage. So I'm not sure if he's taking a shot at navy blue or people who represent that aesthetic, or if he was paying homage to the man. But both Method Man and Denzel Curry sounded great as an inclusion. It was refreshing to hear Denzel and Droog link up. Something unlikely and not predictable. Track 16 is The Rollout, produced by Harry Fraud, and it's another storytelling record where Droog talks about the pitfalls of being outside too much and not knowing when to roll out or roll back home. So it was an ill cautionary tale to stay out the way, and I dug the dreary electric guitar presence from Harry Fraud. Yeah, Droog was in his bag on this storytelling front, giving me some Scarface meets Nas vibes, I want to say. The second and last song is Movie, and it's backed by some uplifting soul chops from K913. It's got a credits rolling type feel instrumental. And here Droog is toasting to his success, comparing his life to a movie. He's even giving out some motivational game like, sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and say, yo, I got this. Put that pen to the page and write your own plot twist. So yeah, I feel this was a strong closer, but the bonus song is even stronger in my opinion. Now this track, Care Plan, features Yasin Bey, and it's produced by Madlib, and it's one of the best instrumentals on the project. I love the sweet, sensual female vocals and the bright, funky horns. This feels like some gorgeous 1960s soul. And I think this particular beat sounded better than anything we got on that Black Star album. So overall, I'm going to give this project a rating of 4 mics. I feel it is Droog's most personal and ambitious project yet. And I think it's his most complete sound. He continued to show his knack for introspection and storytelling, but he balanced all these out with, his wit and that self-deprecating humor that we all know him for. It was also his longest album that I can recall. In addition, he did recruit some bigger name producers this time around. Still, despite the many strengths, there were a couple tracks that I felt were just a little too dreary or downcast for me to have strong replay value. There were no whack tracks on here, don't get me wrong, but just a couple that were just a little too depressing for my ears to play regularly. That being said, throughout, all the rhymes were tight, the concepts were there, and the production was solid from front to back. So I feel this was a very strong release from Your Old Droog. My favorite tracks include Success and Power, Crescent Moon, How Do You Do It, Mercury Thermometers, What Else, Yachty Dotty, DBZ, Rollout, Movie, and Care Plan. But let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Mob. I'm signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Your Old Droog Movie 1.